be making a recipe I found for raspberry chocolate supreme. It's like a frozen treat, or a chilled treat. I'm making it for family gathering tomorrow. First, you have to preheat your oven to 375 for this recipe, but because of my hot oven, I'm gonna preheat it to 350. So you're gonna need a 9 by 9 inch baking dish. This one's 8 by 8, so it'll be fine. It's close enough. Also, ahead of time, let your butter sit out to soften it, or if you have a soften button on the microwave, that's what I'm gonna use. So, okay, the first thing you do is you need a cup of flour. Then you need your powdered sugar, a 1/4 cup of that after your cup of flour. I thought this recipe sounded good. It's kind of like a 3-layer thing. You'll see. Okay, don't want to. Always make sure you even out your measurements. You can use a butter knife to do that. 1/4 cup of powdered sugar. Okay, I'm done with the flour. This is to make the crust, the bottom layer of this dish. Make sure you mix those together with a fork or a spoon. I'm using a fork because I'm going to have to cut in the butter. That's a baking technique, or cooking technique. Okay, I'm going to have to get my butter softened, so I'm going to microwave it for a little bit. Okay, I just softened my butter. Actually, a little bit too much. It's a little drippy. Yeah, don't make sure, you don't want to have liquid running off of it when you soften it. So watch, if you do it in the microwave, be careful. If not, just set it out room temperature for 20 minutes, half hour. Okay, this technique called cutting in, which you need to do for this crust, basically means just taking the butter and then with the fork, pressing it in repeatedly, breaking the butter apart again and again into the batter. Or into the flour and confection or sugar mixture. This is the first time I made this recipe, so I hope it turns out good. I hope I'm doing a good job here. I want to make sure I get all the butter in there. I didn't want to waste a lot of it to liquid. So. Yeah, I don't know how well I'm doing here with this, actually. So. Parts of it are getting thick, but it's still really powdery, so I really got to make sure I cut it in better. Oh. Not doing a very good job here, because I melted the butter a little bit too much. So. I hate it when I make mistakes like this. Whew. Could still turn out good though. We'll see what happens with it. Hopefully it does. It sounded like a good dessert. White chocolate, raspberries, raspberry jam. Starting to mix together well. You can tell it's looking less floury, more buttery, which is good. Cutting it in's tough. A lot of times you're going to have to go back to the fork and press it off and press it back in. So, okay. Got to press this into the 9 by 9 or 8 by 8, 10 by 10. You just got to be close. This is fun. I've done this before with pie crusts. I mixed it together pretty well. It'll look different. At first when you stick the butter in, it's just going to look like butter and, the sugar and flour. But once you mix it together, they'll start to combine. Especially since my butter was melty. It's going pretty fast. Since this is just the bottom layer, I think that looks good enough. You can press yours a little bit more, but basically at this point, just going to stick this in the oven. It says to cook for 15 to 17 minutes. But with my hot oven, I'm going to do it for 10 and see how it turns out. Alright, the crust for this turned out pretty good. As you can see, it's a little brown. The edges are a darker brown because it's kind of lighter there. Try to spread it evenly or you're going to have some areas that burn more than others. Alright, for the next layer, you need to use white chocolate chips, and you need to melt them. When you melt chocolate chips, you gotta keep them in low heat, or else they're gonna burn. You don't want to burn your chocolate. So put your thing on low, your pan, your stove top, and then get your 1 cup of white chocolate chips. Delicious. Love white chocolate. Also, before you begin this process, make sure you have some cream cheese sitting out ahead of time so that it softens. Now for this next layer, we're going to mix the 3 ounces of cream cheese with 2 tablespoons of milk. We're going to beat them together, which means mix them really good. And then we're going to put the melted white chocolate chips with them. Now it says to use 3 ounces. I used a little bit more because I really like cream cheese. Love it. Love cheesecake and all that. Now I'm going to get my 2 tablespoons of white milk. Make sure you check out your chocolate chips also, because you don't want those to burn. So 2 tablespoons, yep. Okay, gotta beat these together. Cream cheese is pretty soft, but make sure it gets really soft. I could have let it sit out a little longer, but yeah, could have been a little softer, but that's okay. I'll let it sit out and check up on my white chocolate chips. The white chocolate chips finally melted. Looks pretty good. Now I'm going to take these over to my cream cheese and milk I got going here. The milk and cream cheese still isn't mixing very well. I'm hoping these white chocolate chips will melt the cream cheese a little better. So we'll see what this does. Gotta beat all these together, so. See, okay, yeah, good. This helped a lot with melting the cream cheese. Still a little sticky though. So I gotta, okay, beat together means really mix it well. Okay, it says to take half a cup of strawberry jam, or raspberry. I don't know why I keep saying strawberry. Okay. I'd say that's about half a cup. It's close enough. If I need more, I'll use a little bit more. Looks decent to me. Now we gotta put the white chocolate milk cream cheese mixture, but then we gotta spread that around. So what do you think? Yeah, I know it's bad, but now I have to refrigerate this for a little bit, and then we're gonna make the glazed topping, which will hopefully save it all. Alright, for the final layer, you gotta use 2 of the 1 ounce semi-sweet chocolate, like the cooking chocolate you find in the baking aisle, and then you gotta use 1 tablespoon of shortening, and you melt that together and pour it on top of your other 2 layers that have been refrigerating. And then after you have that, you chill that for a little while. So they say to cut it into tinier pieces so it's easier to melt. Okay. So we can take this. You can take your cold dish, sloppy, whatever. Hopefully pouring this on and make it look a little better. Then this you cool and you can cut it into bars and serve it. So good luck trying these raspberry bars or whatever you wish to call them. Good luck.